because there's a high demand in Nova Scotia. So that stream only exists because we need more ECEs and CCAs in Nova Scotia.
Yeah. Hello， 大家好，我们今天超时空的工作人员来到了哈利法克斯和达勒茅斯的 Cbbc 学院。我们今天将和学校的负责人一起来了解和介绍一下最近比较关注的护工和幼教这个紧缺留学项目。那接下来就跟随我们一起来探索一下这个学校吧。
Exactly. So our CCA lab, we have the hospital bed, so students can learn, how to raise the bed, how to lower the bed. We have different types because the different facilities will have different beds. They all work a little differently. And then you'll also see we have some mannequins. So that they can practice things like a patient lift or getting a patient from the bed to the wheelchair. And then also all the devices that they might use. So mobility devices and different things. They get to practice here before they go to long-term care facilities. So the first time they do something is not with a real person.
Yeah, of course. You want to practice.
Yeah. That's what we focus on at a career college is what do you actually need to know for that job.
Yes. Hi everyone, this is Andrew from Space Time Beyond Immigration.
Hi, I'm Laura from Cbbc Career College.
Yeah, today I'm very excited to have Laura to help us introduce the CCA and the ECE program, especially answer some questions and, for example, the program, the tuition fee, the intake, the time schedule, and hopefully it will guide you and answer your questions and concerns. So hopefully you will be interested in Cbbc Career College's programs to help you build a career and the future in Canada. So let's begin. I just have some very basic questions.
Sure, happy to help.
Especially for the continual care assistant and early education program. It's very popular in high demand.
Okay.
So the first question is about the tuition and the fee. So people are generally question or curious how much it costs for international students to finish these two programs at the CBBC?
Yeah, for sure. So the continuing care assistant program, that is a 25-week program, and the tuition fee for the whole program is $14,900 Canadian, and the only other fee is a $311 fee for textbooks and course materials.
Sure, yeah.
And then the ECE program, that one's a 46-week program. It's $16,400 for tuition, and the textbook fee is $969.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, that's a reasonable price for for such a good program.
Yeah, and the good thing too is the way that our payment works, students only pay half of that before their start date. So then you don't pay the second half until you're halfway through the program. It gives you a couple months to save up a little more money for that second 50%.
Yeah, that's very helpful. So what if an international student, the study permit get a decline, the tuition fee will be refunded?
Yes, so when they pay that 50% tuition fee deposit, $500 of that is considered a registration fee. If a student comes to study with us, that registration fee goes towards tuition, so it's not an extra fee. But if a student is not able to join us, we keep that $500 as a non-refundable registration fee, but we refund everything else that's been paid.
Yeah, okay. So my second question is how you already answered how long, right? So what's the daily schedule? Because some parents, they have children to take care of, right? They have some other responsibilities, and Also, what's the intake schedule? Is like you can enroll in like every 3 months, or how often the school will open the seats?
Yeah, so for intakes for start dates, we do have lots of options for students. Almost every other month, we have a new class starting. Definitely for the CCA program, it's every other month.
Yeah.
For ECE, it's maybe like once every 2 months that we'll have a new intake.
Okay.
In terms of the schedules, so for the early childhood education program, that one's 46 weeks. When they have their theory classes, which are 33 of the 46 weeks, those 33 weeks of theory classes will be in person here at CBBC, and they'll be Monday to Thursday. So they don't have theory classes on Fridays.
Okay.
And the schedule, I think, is around 8 to 4:30, something like that. When they do their learning placements, which are the other 13 of the 46 weeks, they will go to different daycare facilities that we've partnered with. And for those learning placements, it's usually an 8-hour shift that they're scheduled for, sometime between 8 and 5 or 7:30, 4:30, that kind of thing.
Okay.
For the CCA program, when they're doing their theory classes, some of those are going to be online by Zoom. They're real-time classes, so they do have to attend them in person, have their camera on, participate in the discussion. And those classes, I believe, are 8 to 3, Monday to Friday. They also will have some in-person lab training classes here at campus, same schedule. And then they have training that's in person at our long-term care facility partners. For those, it kind of depends on the facility that they're going to be doing that training at, but usually it's an earlier shift because most people at those facilities will have a shift that's maybe 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. So it might be like 6:45 in the morning to 3 p.m. that they're doing those shifts. When they have their one-on-one mentorships, they'll follow their mentor schedule.
Okay.
So that might be an evening shift. It might be a weekend shift. We do request they don't get those overnight shifts when they're studying with us as a student. But it is important for them to get the experience that in the CCA role, there can be a range of schedules because it is a shift work position.
Okay. Thank you. So you mentioned that they have like the core placement. So how many hours in total in the both of the program, and is the hours included in the total length of the programs?
So I know the hours for CCA. In total, it's 686 hours of training, and 421 of those hours are in-person training, whether that's in person in our lab or on the floor at the placements. I don't know the hour breakdown for ECE for the placements. I just know that it's 13 weeks of the 33 weeks of the program. And the way the placements are organized for ECE is that they'll come to campus and do theory classes for about 2 months. And then they do their first learning placement for about 3 weeks. Then they come back to campus, learn new things. Then they do their second learning placement for 3 weeks at the second daycare. And they do 4 of those in total.
Okay, that's good enough hours for them to practice, get the skills.
And they get to learn how different daycare facilities work. They get to see which kind of center would be the best fit for them when they're done. It's a chance to meet 4 potential employers. And they actually do have the opportunity for their 4th placement for it to be a paid experience because by the time they do their 4th one, they have enough knowledge and training to be paid, to be counted in the ratio of staff and to have some responsibilities there.
I do have lots of students from clients from CBC. They secure their employment during their placement.
It's a great opportunity to make a good impression with the employer.
Okay. So what kind of credential, a diploma or certificate they will finish it after these 2 programs?
Sure.
Is this a Canadian Universal accepted?
So both of these programs are for jobs that are kind of provincially regulated. So there'll be diplomas. So it's a diploma in early childhood education or a continuing care assistant diploma. That's what they'll receive, and those are for kind of how Nova Scotia has created those positions. It may be something they can transfer to other provinces. Every province has kind of different rules on what they accept and what the equivalencies are. In addition to the diplomas that they get, like their CCA diploma or EC diploma, as part of the training program, they do also earn a few other certificates. So both programs, they'll get a first aid and CPR certificate. Both programs, they'll get a workplace health and safety and occupational health and safety certificates. And in the CCA program, they will also get a certificate about dementia and how to properly work with patients who are experiencing dementia. And they also get training in palliative care. They get a LEAP certificate. So these are certificates that would help for these roles, but are transferable to lots of other positions as well.
Yeah, that's very good. So another important question is regarding the employment future, the demanding of these two positions, and if that's okay, do you know what's the general employment rate for our future students from CBBC?
Of course, So employment, we know that's a big part of it. As a career college, students come to us to start their career, and we're just helping them on that path. So we track all of our employment information. These two jobs, so for the CCA program, the employment rate is 93%, and it's 90% right now for ECE. So that is based on the past year and all of our graduates and how many of them have secured not just a job in the field, but a full-time position in that field.
I guess if you work hard, you are almost very likely to secure employment.
Exactly. I mean, the whole reason the government of Nova Scotia has created the International Graduates in Demand immigration stream, that's part of the provincial nominee program, and they've opened it up to these two careers, is because there's a high demand in Nova Scotia. So that stream only exists because we need more ECEs and CCAs in Nova Scotia.
Do you have any insight or prediction about the industrial demand for these two positions in Nova Scotia? Any, from government or educational partners?
For sure. It's something that we always try and stay on top of, and we ask our partners for their perspectives. What we've heard in the ECE industry is that as the country moves towards the Liberal government's promise of $10 a day accessible and affordable daycare, it's been a multi-stage process that's taken many years. We're not there yet, but it's something that daycare facilities are still moving towards, and that means they're expanding their facilities. That means new facilities may be opening so that they can welcome more children. And anytime more children are being welcomed, they need more staff for those children. So they say that the demand should remain for a number of years now for ECE. And then for CCA, in Nova Scotia, we have an aging population. So we already have a lot of seniors that live here, and our population's just getting older, and more people are requiring a bed in these long-term care facilities. We actually have many people who are in beds in hospitals right now because there's not enough long-term care facility spaces for them. So the long-term care facilities are also building new facilities or opening new floors and expanding, opening facilities in new communities that are underserved. So same thing, the more beds they get, so the more patients they can welcome, but the more staff they need to properly care for those patients. So the need is ongoing in the CCA realm as well.
I also want to reassure some future students is the demand is continuing. It's finally we'll get the $10 each day, the very affordable daycare, so more family they'll consider send their children to daycare, and the parents will go to work. And for the aging population, because the improvement of quality of life, people they generally living longer, and the boomer generation they're enjoying their retired life, but unfortunately when they reach the age they may suffering from dementia, and they need people to take care of them. That's how this society works. So that's why it's these two positions, the two jobs is super important to us.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. There are so many advantages from these two programs. So next question is about how CBC will generally help our students during the study or before or after they graduate. How you guys help students to find their job or help them get the school done.
Yeah, for sure. So because we're a smaller college, we do get to know every student. Our admissions advisors will do an admissions interview with each student, so they have a one-on-one to get to know them from day one. And that admissions advisor will be paired with the student for the whole admissions process, so they get to know that person and have a support contact at CBBC from just the day that they apply. Once they get here, it's a really supportive team. We have small class sizes, so they're well supported in their classrooms for success. The instructors have a lot of time to give each student attention. We also have a student services staff on campus that helps students if they are having any issues with academics, but even with everyday life, if they have problems with accommodations or they don't know where to get a certain type of food, or if they're feeling homesick, we have people who can provide them with all the resources that they need. And then another staff member that we have is a career services team member. So it's their job to help students to make sure they have a resume that's appropriate for Canadian employers. So they help them to prepare a resume. They help with interview tips. They also share with students when jobs are posted. One thing that we also do on site is host a job fair. So twice a year, we have the CCA employers invited to CBBC in our lab, and they come with their hiring team to meet our students and graduates to help our students with that transition to employment. So those are kind of some of the ways that we help support our students.
They're all very helpful and thoughtful. Thank you. Okay, my next question is about admission requirement. What's the general requirement, especially for international students? Their pass credentials, their language ability, or their background, or their age,
Great question. So anyone who's interested in this, kind of the basic qualifications or admissions requirements are that they have to have completion of secondary school, so a high school diploma, anything that would be equal to a Canadian grade 12 secondary school diploma. We do have English proficiency requirements, so we say equal to a 6.0 IELTS academic, but we accept most of the major English tests. We also have many great language school partners. If students want to complete a pathway program, that's always a smart choice. They can get prepared for the Canadian classroom that way. In addition to English and the high school, for age, we don't really have an age requirement. However, both of the ECE and CCA programs do require police background checks because they're dealing with a vulnerable population. So most people have to be 18 to get that kind of check done. And also, if they are looking ahead towards that immigration stream and thinking they may wish to apply for that after, the ages for that stream are 19 to 55. So they would have to fall within that range. For each program does have special requirements based on the program. So for ECE, as I said, that police background check. And then another thing we require are 2 character references. So each candidate would have to have 2 people that they would be able to refer to provide a little character reference why they're a good person, well suited for a career in ECE. And then for CCA, there are some additional requirements because they would be interacting with the vulnerable, elderly, sick population. They are required to have some immunizations. And so the COVID-19 vaccination, as well as a few other kind of common vaccinations like the chickenpox and the mumps, measles vaccine. And then the CCA program also does have one of the mentorships is a home care mentorship. So students will do a one-on-one mentorship with a home care professional That is when the patients still live in their homes. And so they do have to drive between the patient's homes to complete the required 40 hours.
So they need a driver's license.
So they need a driver's license
Yeah.
and they will need access to a vehicle. They can rent a vehicle, they can borrow from a friend. It's just to complete 40 hours. So it's not very long. But home care is also a great potential employer, an employment option for CCA graduates when they're done. So it's good they get that exposure. And if they get a car for that, they may use it for that employment later on too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I guess that's all my questions. It's super helpful and very clear. Yeah. As I mentioned earlier, like CBBC's EC and CCA, they are very high demanding industry, and the program, they are very helpful and supportive to help students to finish the school and to secure their employment and the future in Canada. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach us, and we want to answer all your questions and all your concerns. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.